All right. Hey, Serge.
We're good? Oh, sorry.
Serge, man. Thank you so much
Hi,
for
LELAND.
putting together this awesome concert for us.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure.
Yeah. What was it like putting it together, given the situation we're in with the lockdown and quarantine?
Yeah, it was definitely very strange. Normally if I'm putting together a show, or like my team is putting together a show, we rehearse in person, and we meet in person beforehand. And this was very strange because everything was done remotely. So I was left with a lot of thoughts for myself. And as I'm sure all of us are aware, that can be good and bad. Sometimes when you think too much, you begin to second guess. So for me, I felt like I had to come up with a theme for the show that could drive it. And for me, obviously that, like, I thought, what do we need more than anything else right now? And that's just to spread love and happiness. And so that kind of was a driving force to not take it too seriously. But not in a way that it wasn't serious, of course, but in a way that hopefully people can just like sit back, relax, and forget about the world for an hour and just enjoy some arts, because we haven't had that for so long.
Yeah. And if you can't have some fun with it, then what's the point, right?
Exactly. It's supposed to be fun. That's why we do it, for sure.
Yeah. So tell our audience and people who may not be familiar with you, what is your background, and how does the Regent Theater in Arlington, Massachusetts fit in with your background?
Yes, it's a great question, LELAND. I often will put in all of my bios or any interviews, I say that really the Regent Theater is why I began performing. For any of you who know Medford Street well, you know how rooted it is in community and tradition. And that is something that I grew up in very intensely. My father teaches at Arlington Catholic, and he has been a part of the Arlington community for so long that I was kind of born into that. And my parents saw from a young age that I was noisy and singing. So they put me in an after-school music program called Moco Music, which is now Torchlight. It's still on Medford Street. Maura Lynch is still doing her thing with it. And for me, I began to sing and learn how to sing and find my talent there. We performed like twice a year, I think, or 3 times a year on the Regent's main stage. And I mean, you guys have a huge, how many seats do you have? Like close to 500, right?
Close to 500.
Yeah, close to 500. And yes, and those seats would sell out for most of those performances. So I was there performing live for like 500 people, and we had live sound, live technicians. And I don't think I realized then how much influence the audience and the Regent's setup have in my performing now. But I pretty much learned how to perform because I was forced up on your stage, actually. So I am deeply rooted in the Regent. And then, I mean, from Moco, you guys had benefit concerts. I began performing in those more, as a solo act, and kind of built a following. And I even worked at your concession stand in high school because I needed a job.
I was going to say, and many great people have worked at our concession stand, including my son, Chuck.
Yes, of course.
So you really got to see the Regent Theater from a lot of different sides. From the stage, from the concession stand, and I'm sure you were also in the audience for shows that you weren't participating in.
Of course, many from the URO to many touring acts that you guys had. It was such a beacon of entertainment that I am always grateful for, because the more I have met people that I perform with and, other artists who are wonderful, I realized that they didn't actually get that experience. And to have that experience truly in walking distance from where I was my whole life, like 12 hours a day I spent on Medford Street, probably more than 12 hours a day. I didn't realize back then how much culture it brought and how much learning it brought for me, actually. So I'm so grateful for the Regent Theater, and I like always try to carry it with me wherever I go, for sure.
I have to mention, because you mentioned URO, our house band for
Yes.
16 years. They're actually among the things we're doing virtually coming up at the end of this month. We're doing a world premiere of their original rock opera, which was recorded last November on our stage and filmed professionally. So we're really looking forward to hosting that on the 25th of this month. But
that's
for
exciting.
You,
yes, everyone should go. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Regenttheater.com for details. And in terms of yourself, what can we expect next in terms of, what you are looking forward to doing, under current restrictions of
right.
not being able to perform in front of a live audience? It must be so strange to live in New York City, to work in New York City, and Broadway being completely shut down, among other entertainment facilities.
No, for sure. It's sad. One of the reasons that I thought doing this benefit specifically too, not to get too off track, is just because it really is unfortunate that arts, I feel like all theaters were the first to close, and it seems like they're going to be the last to reopen. So it's almost like we were left in the dust through all of this. And that's definitely something that said, New York, the theater scene has been completely shut down. I had a show coming up at 54 Below, which many people probably know as the basement or the old Studio 54. Mm-hmm. They redesigned it for 54 Below. And I have been performing there for the past few years in different shows. So we had a show scheduled for May that has been rescheduled now 3 times, but we are looking forward to it. Right now it's rescheduled for March 26th. And it's called An Evening with Serge, Clivio, and Friends, Volume 2. So it's our second installment of our Serge and Friends series. And pretty much I'll have a lot of incredible artists, some that you saw earlier tonight, up with me and singing songs and genres that I love that have influenced me. So that's in March. You can go to 54below.com for details on that, hoping that it happens in March. We'll see. But in the meantime, I actually am recording my debut EP, Extended Play. So it's a 5-track record. It's really exciting. I wrote some songs last year, and we began recording last year into this year. It was supposed to be due out in November, but of course, because of COVID, everything has kind of been pushed back. And so we are now continuing to record it, continuing production with it, but it's been pushed back a year. So we can expect it at the end of 2021. But it's definitely something to look forward to. I've released a few singles over the past few years, but I have yet to release kind of a full body of work. So this EP is really, really exciting for me. I know you heard a few songs earlier from it, yes. And it's definitely something that I have put a lot of time into. And Mike, my music director, who you've met earlier as well, he's put a lot of time into it, and we're really excited to show it to people because it's my own work and my own writing, and that is something that for me is very personal to share, that I've been waiting to share for a while, and I've been given that opportunity. So I'm trying to take it full steam ahead.
Well, that's exciting. We really look forward to hearing your projects, both recording and live on stage. And of course, in front of a live audience. And let me just say right here and now, I'd like to extend you an invitation, you and your team, your bandmates, everyone who performed on our behalf tonight, to come up a year from now and do a live concert on our stage in front of a live audience.
Thank you, LELAND. We would
guidelines and
love,
good Lord permitting.
of course. Yes, we would love nothing more. I mean, I'd love to share, the new music with you, maybe even before anyone else gets to hear it. The region is always home for me whenever I do shows, whether it's in New York or around wherever we are. I always hope that we can bring a version of it back to the region. The crowds are always so responsive and loving, and it's always just like feels returning to home. There's always no pressure. I love performing at the region now because I feel like there's no pressure here. When you're in New York, you're on Broadway, you're on 54th Street. There's a lot that goes into it, and the Region Theater for me, it's just home and community. So we would love to come back. I mean, I'm very grateful for that invitation. Thank you, Leland.
Well, that's good, but I'll have to figure out how to put a little more pressure on you then.
No, no, we have enough pressure. You know.
I know that. Well, listen, before I let you go, I just have to put a little plug in to your fans.
Please.
Those who donated or those just tuning in, that we have a GoFundMe page, and they can go to regenttheater.com if they feel inspired. But even if folks are unable to donate, which is totally understandable during this pandemic and financial crisis, share the GoFundMe page with friends and family. And next up after you tonight, Serge, we've got a exclusive commemoration of Jimi Hendrix. It's actually the 50th anniversary of his passing. Next Friday, this Friday, the 18th, we've got a multimedia film event and streaming live from the Regent stage, a concert tribute. So
how exciting.
So we're excited about that and many other things. But of course, look forward to hosting you in the theater and other events where we can welcome people back. And again, thanks again. It's the 13th of September, exactly 6 months to the day, Friday, the 13th of March, when we were shut down on the morning of a sold-out show. So I feel now, though, I'm optimistic. There's things to look forward to. And thank you for being here for us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love you guys so much, and I'm so grateful. I can't wait for what's next. I'm really excited.
2 thumbs up and full steam ahead.
Yes.
Take care,
Thank
Serge.
you, Leland.
Talk to you soon.
You too. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.